Hey, co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. Disgraced not former, but Love is Blind Season 3 star SK has done an interview with People magazine to remove all doubt for anyone who was giving him the benefit of the doubt in terms of his trash character. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point when it comes to this man, because I peeped game from the beginning. I did get dragged. Go back and watch my earlier videos when I said that their relationship dynamics were very selfish. Raven had to learn a new culture. Raven had to change like her style of dress for the wedding to fit into this new culture. It was her who had to do the sacrifices for him to move as a student, live on a student budget. Like, she didn't come, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so much that he was expecting from her. And we never really heard about what he was going to offer her in return, or him compromising for her or anything like that. I was just never feeling this guy. And now he does an interview after Raven did her Vile Files interview, talking about him cheating on her throughout their second go around at their whole relationship thing, and I believe the engagement as well. Like, he was cheating as recently as a couple of days before and after the engagement. And so SK, he goes to People magazine, and let me just show you how insidious his level of manipulation is, because he starts off the interview talking about how, oh, I'm not proud of what I did. I want to take responsibility and whatnot. But then if you pay close attention, you notice that he's actually not taking responsibility for what it is that he's done. In fact, what he actually decides to do instead is accuse Raven of cheating on him in their relationship. Okay, let's get into the story. So here's the quote that I was mentioning earlier. I thought that it was already showing for you guys, but it wasn't. I'm not proud of how I conducted myself. I'm finally ready to speak out because I feel like I owe it to Raven and to the whole world watching, and also to myself, to take full accountability for my actions. Okay, then do that, SK, because this interview, what you do in this interview is anything but that. We're going to get to it, though, because I'm all fired up, so I need to stop getting far ahead of myself. He continued on to say, this is not an apology tour. It's really about me owning my actions and taking responsibilities, and also just taking the things I've learned from this experience, and I'll continue to learn and grow as a person. I hate when people say this type of stuff, because what are you talking about? Continue to learn and grow. It's basic human common sense and decency that you don't go around behind your spouse's back cheating on them. Like, what do you mean this is like, I don't understand. Like, where were your ethics? It's so wild. Anyway, I do want to deeply express my sincere apology to Raven for the hurt and embarrassment that I caused her. Yeah, you certainly were an embarrassment, SK. I'm not proud of how I conducted myself. I conducted myself in a way that's making me take a step back and reflect. Listen, it would have been great if he had just ended the interview there. But of course, he could not have done that. He decided to continue on to justify what he did by claiming that Raven was the one who cheated on him first. And also, he kind of like tries to minimize the amount of cheating that he was doing on Raven, claiming that these were happening while they were on a break, even though on the Vile File podcast, Raven went into deep detail about where they were in their relationship during some of these infidelities that he was engaging in. So let's get into that part of it, okay? Let's just continue with this article. In November, news of SK's rumored infidelity broke on TikTok, and we covered that on this channel if you want to go ahead and check those old videos out. Yeah, it presented a different side after he proposed to Raven post filming, only to be followed by a video from Raven claiming that he had been unfaithful to her during the engagement. I'm really happy for Raven that the producers were able to put that in there so that she wouldn't have to be bothered on social media with people asking if she's still engaged to SK or not, right? When he's explaining all of it, he claims that he was not dating anyone when Raven and I decided to go into a committed exclusive relationship. Despite me being from a polygamous family, which is a very sensitive topic for me to share on the show, it's not the kind of lifestyle that I subscribe to, and I never will. You know, that's the thing, SK. You might think you're above polygamy, but polygamy is better than the crap you do. What you do is you manipulate, you lie, You mentally and psychologically and emotionally abuse women by cheating on them. Polygamy is honest. Polygamy is ethical non-monogamy. So I don't understand why he likes to talk down on this side of his culture when it is far leaps and bounds above his F-boy ways. Like it really pisses me off to see a cheater talking about, I don't believe in polygamy, you know? It's far from the kind of lifestyle that I want to live. Well, what's the lifestyle you want to live? Right? The infidel lifestyle of just cheating on people, manipulating them, lying to them, driving them crazy. Raven, in that interview, she broke my heart when she was talking about she was just so sick of all the lies that she just, at a certain point, she couldn't even take it anymore. She just dropped to the kitchen floor crying because he had been lying to her so long. For so long, she didn't even know what was true anymore. A person like that having the freaking audacity to talk about, I don't subscribe to the polygamous life and I never will. Like he's above it, please. GTFO. Anyway, he continued on to say, all the previous women that came out, those happened earlier in 2022, when again, I was a single guy. Raven and I were still talking. There you go. You were talking to someone that you were engaged to. And that is like the dating phase, right? So like when you're talking to someone and it's new and you don't know each other, okay, it's assumed that you've got other people going on, you know, typically. But when you are going through a breakup from your fiance and then a couple months later you're trying again and you haven't labeled it yet, I think there's an implied assumption. It's already implied that you're exclusively working on things, because why would you be working with other people when you already have this huge deep history and intimate bond? You know what I mean? I don't think that that's a good cop out personally. And then he claims that that Cabo trip happened while they were like in the talking phase and not in the committed relationship phase, which Raven says is not true, because guess what? That trip happened just a week after he met Raven's mom. So on what planet does someone, you know what I mean? Like it's not adding up. He's lying to us. And this is why he is a cheater, because he's a liar. The Cabo trip happened around May, at a time when I really felt Raven and I, we had not exclusively made that completely committed relationship to be in a marriage-bound serious relationship. However, there was an incident of me, you know, and I don't like this. Don't say there was an incident. There was a decision of me having an inappropriate conversation with this woman sometime in the fall. So it's the same woman that you went on a trip with a week after you met Raven's mom. Like, you're sick, man. I believe it was around September of 2022, which is completely inappropriate. It didn't end up happening, but I feel like I shouldn't even have had that kind of conversation with somebody. Okay. I'm not here to really pick and choose what or go back and forth about who did what. We all make mistakes. There he goes, minimizing. That's something I deeply want to apologize for and take accountability for. Well, you're not taking accountability and apologizing when you're planting the seeds of doubt, talking about who did this and who did that. No. Just say that you deeply apologize and want to take accountability for going on vacation with another woman a week after you meet your ex-fiance / girlfriend's mom, and continuing to talk to her after you guys like officially decided, you know, and I believe that they had already decided before this, but continuing to talk to her, you know, within the bounds of, okay, we're really doing it again this time. Yeah, so anyway, he's claiming that he experienced hurt and heartbreak. Well, he deserves it, in his relationship with Raven before they officially split in November of 2022. When we did start dating again and we were trying to build something meaningful, we made a lot of progress. And here it goes. This is where he decides, you know what? I'm not going to be the only one here. I am going to throw Raven under the bus. And pay attention to the dog whistles that he throws out there, basically calling her a sugar baby, an escort, a prof, you know, whatever it is. Pay attention. Okay. Sometime last year, there were things that happened during the course of that relationship that also caused a lot of hurt and heartbreak for me. Raven revealed to me that her ex was still in the picture while we were filming Love is Blind. This was the primary reason why our on-screen chemistry was off, kind of off, and I think the audience could sense that. To me, I thought maybe she just didn't feel comfortable yet, and I wanted to give her and create that safe space for her to become comfortable. Well, what do you mean her man was in the picture and you decided to give her space to make her feel comfortable? What is this? Raven, she responded to that claim, telling People magazine, "We all spoke about our exes in the pods. It was part of the expedited process to talk about our posts." Right? Like, to me, like, he's being intentionally vague here. Still in the picture in what way? Because she talked about this guy and how he bought her things and how she still has those things. Is that what he's talking about? Because that is a non-factor. I feel like everybody still has gifts from their exes. Like, sometimes these people be buying us expensive things. And if you think we're going to throw this stuff away just because we got a new boo, please, please. It doesn't mean the other person is still, in your life emotionally or anything like that, or that you even have contact with them. Anyway, here he goes, continuing to dig that hole for Raven. She also mentioned previously, sometime in the show, about dating an older, successful guy with whom she had a great life and who bought her things. There you go. Let's low-key call her a hooker. Let's low-key call her an escort. Let's low-key call her a gold digger. Let's low-key call her a sugar baby, because he knows that inflames the broke boy base. The broke boy base and the pick-me base and the not that cute base, those are the three segments of people who have a problem with beautiful women dating successful men who take care of them. And he's trying to activate them there. After we started dating again, I discovered that she had, in fact, continued to be in communication with this older guy. There she goes again. Both while we were filming and while we were together dating. Where's the receipts? Because there are none so far, right? The other girlies dropped the receipts on you, SK, but where's the receipts on this older man? Throughout the course of our relationship, the second time around, Raven and I took at least 5 different trips where either I came to Texas or she came to California. And on at least 2 different occasions of those trips, I personally witnessed incidents of communication between her and this older guy. Why does he keep emphasizing the man's age? I don't see any reason other than to stoke the flames of all those negative things that people called Raven, right? Because she wanted to be taken care of by a man with some coin. Whether him still blowing up her phone, trying to call her, FaceTime her, or even a text message that talked about the possibility of them having kids together. He said that, and that communication went on until late summer, after a time when Raven and I were seriously committed to being exclusive in a relationship. So why are you saying this now, SK? Why did you stay with her? You're like, it doesn't make any sense, because you were out here talking about, oh, we were not sure, we were not this, we were not that. So why would you, in this state of limbo, decide consciously to go back to a girl that is allegedly talking to her ex? That's on you, buddy, right? I'm not buying it, to be honest with you guys. Like, maybe they're friendly, but I don't believe, or maybe the guy did want some things, but I don't believe that Raven reciprocated in any capacity. And he's like, we were seriously committed to be exclusive. Well, that's semantics, right? Because to me, he's not saying we were in a seriously committed exclusive relationship. He's talking about them before they decided to be in an exclusive relationship. So he considers it cheating, which is funny, because a little bit further up, what did we just talk about? He was like, oh, well, I was talking, with these other girls, inappropriate conversations when we were seeing each other, but before we were officially exclusive. And so that's no problem. But here, Raven is allegedly doing the same thing, and it's a problem, SK. This is what I mean. SK plays by a different set of rules. I don't believe anything he's saying, but if it's true, he's playing by a different set of rules. Raven told People that it's completely untrue, and that she was in touch with an older man during her relationship with SK. I believe you, Raven. This man is a liar. He's a proven liar and a proven manipulator. So I need receipts to ever believe anything that a person with I can't even say with the character of SK, because it's a complete lack of character that he has. You can't trust anything they say. He could tell me that my shirt is green, and I would say, you lying bitch. It's, let me take a look. Oh, all right. Well, you're telling the truth this one time. You know what I mean? Like, I do not trust people like this. And he's over here talking about, it was very difficult for me trying to navigate the relationship, the long distanceness, and the, it being away from the cameras. Please, it was not difficult. You had 3 women on rotation. How did he even find the time and the money for all these trips? On the show, he was talking about, Raven, we're going to have to eat ramen. We're going to be broke for a bit. Student budget, girl. Meanwhile, he's got all the money to fly out all the chicks in the world. That's what I mean when I say he's a very untrustworthy person. SK admits he should have ended things with Raven after noticing some serious red flags in their relationship. So how did we get here? Again, At the beginning of this interview, he's saying he's accepting responsibility, he's showing remorse. Meanwhile, no. The whole point of this interview was to throw Raven under the bus and to now say, no, it was Raven who was the cheater. There is no ounce of accountability in this at all. And I'm genuinely disgusted by what it is that he's decided to do. It's like, let me just burn this last bridge here at this point. He's saying that months before his second proposal, which we saw on After the Altar, the two of them went on a pivotal trip to New Orleans to meet her mom, which SK says ultimately helped validate how their priorities were not aligned. Okay, and you proposed. Why did you propose for the second time? If you decided months prior that your priorities were not aligned and she was not the person for you. He just wants to hurt this woman. He truly does, because what an awful thing to say. I'm saying this not to make excuses for my actions. Yeah, freaking right. Because the most honorable thing to do at that point would have been to end the relationship if I felt like we weren't both in it. But I did also see that we were both trying to put in deliberate efforts to make things work between us. It's just important for me to let people know that this was not a case of a happy, problem-free relationship that I just messed up for no reason. Our relationship had serious real-life challenges coupled with the pressures of doing this in the most public way possible and trying to do something on our own terms that made things very difficult. So you had to cheat? Because it wasn't all happy, sunshines and roses and daisies, the relationship, you had to cheat? Because it was the most public relationship you've ever had, you had to cheat and publicly humiliate this woman? What is this man talking about? It's just, what? Another very important pivotal part of our relationship was the trip we took to New Orleans, that we went to meet her mom. Well, they just went into this, but okay, go off again. I remember this was sometime in May of 2022. It was around the second week of Jazz Fest, and I was really excited. The final day in New Orleans, Raven and I had a very, very long heart-to-heart conversation. We were trying to figure out what our immediate goals were, because at the time, things were getting really serious between us. We were heading towards becoming a very committed, even marriage-bound relationship. But there were still a lot of unanswered questions, or at least doubts that I had. I really wanted to use that moment to get an idea or sense of where her head is at, what her immediate goals or short-term goals were, and just really try to answer some of these questions that I've been having doubts about. In that conversation, most of what I got out of it was, I'm not ready to settle down now. I'm not ready to start a family, move to the suburbs, whatever normal married people do, or people who want to settle down. The conversation was more around, oh, I just really want to build my brand. I just really want to work on my business. How dare she want to work? How dare she want to have goals? I got to cheat on her. Knock her down a peg is basically what he's saying at this point. And he was like, I was stunned. How dare she? She wants to work on her career before moving to the suburbs and having babies with me while I cheat on her? Because mind you, he was cheating on her at this point. Wow, what an awful woman. Let me add another chick to the roster. What about us? Where do we fall in this whole short-term picture? Well, what about your side chick, SK? Where does she fall in your short-term and long-term goals? Though he acknowledges that they had similar conversations in the pods, and he even said on the show that he loved her drive and her ambition, and that she was not going to be a traditional wife or anything like that. So again, what is he talking about? It just felt like in real life now, all these things are great, but what do you want out of this relationship? Or what are we trying to build from this relationship? And I didn't really get that. Like someone who really had me in her forever future plan. It was really more about right now, I just want to focus on myself, focus on my brand and build my business. That is not fair. It is 1000% normal for a woman to want to focus on her business, just like it is for a man to, you went away to study for your MBA program in a different state, dude. She's going to stay in the same state with you, blah, 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 and work. And that's a problem, but you can leave. Like the cognitive dissonance here is astounding to me. Mind you, at this time, I was already halfway done with my MBA program in a different state. I was starting to make plans because I knew I would be graduating in a year's time, so I could start setting things up for us for success post MBA. Well, it's not just you. She wants to be independently successful. She wants to set things up. Why is it okay that you're starting to set things up and she can't? Especially because she stuck around me throughout that time, and you didn't deserve it, SK. I left that New Orleans trip confirming and validating that Raven and our priorities were not aligned. So I decided to propose to her and publicly humiliate her. for the second time. I really left that New Orleans trip wanting to end the relationship with her just because of that very reason. It was the last validation that I needed to tell me if we were in this for the right reasons and if we were both aligned on our goals of what we wanted. But against my better judgment, shady, I did not act on those feelings, and we continued dating and working on the relationship. In retrospect, I wish I'd ended things at that time. At the same time, I blame no one but myself. Stop. You did this entire interview to shade, drag, and continue to hurt Raven. The reality is, I felt like Raven and I were focused on two different things. Yeah, she was focused on her business, her career, your relationship, and you were focused on other chicks, SK. Dusty. Mm-mm-mm. Despite having one foot already out of the relationship, SK continued dating Raven and then shocked viewers when he re-proposed to her on After the Altar. The proposal and me asking her to marry me again and all that, there's been a lot of backlash around that. You think? But the truth is, there was a lot more going on behind the scenes as far as the origin and the circumstances surrounding this proposal that I'm not at liberty to discuss publicly. So I guess now he's trying to claim that he was forced to propose to her again, I felt quite uncomfortable about how the whole proposal was being portrayed. So I really did ask them to take it out because at the end of the day, Love is Blind is a very well professionally produced and edited TV show that's optimized for audience engagement. Look at that. The way the proposal was presented and all that wasn't any different from that. There he is just taking a whole bunch of nothing, right? Like now he's trying to say, oh, well, the thing was staged. And so I did try to get them to take it out because, I didn't mean that proposal basically. The producers did give us an opportunity to tell our own sides of the story. At the time, Raven and I were still in communication. We talked almost every day. We were still very cordial and civil with each other. It was not a bad breakup. I remember one of Raven's biggest requests when we broke up was for me to not just completely disappear away from her life like that. Raven, that was your mistake. You gotta cut it cold turkey. Don't keep these types of people in your life. What benefit does a lying, scheming manipulator like SK bring to your life? Because at that point, we had already played very significant roles in each other's life. Please, it was only like 2 years or something like that, 1.5 years. Like, cut the cord and get over it. And I respected and honored that. Yeah. Respect and honor should not even be in your vocabulary. When they gave us the opportunity to tell our side of the story, Raven and I had initially decided to not make an already messy situation even messier and just keep our personal, private business away from being dramatized. That was the agreement we both had. There he goes, right? She's a bad person. She broke the agreement and spoke out about the way that I put her through a lot of emotional, mental, and, psychological abuse with all my cheating. We're just not going to record it. Worst case, they're just going to put some text on the screen like the proposal and the engagement didn't work out. I did not know that Raven went behind and recorded that post-proposal reaction. So me watching that all over again for the first time, seeing it on screen play out that way, I was really surprised because I was like, I thought we weren't going to do this. I thought you were going to protect me, right? I thought I manipulated you well enough that you would protect me after I treated you like complete and utter garbage. How dare you, Raven? How dare you use your voice to speak out and tell the truth about what I did to you? I do wish I had recorded something actually, and I honestly didn't because, again, out of respect for what we once had together, Raven did not disrespect the relationship that you guys had by telling the truth about the way you treated her and the way you cheated on her. You see, this is what I'm saying. He keeps on purposely like slipping in these like little, if you read between the lines, which I love to do with people, you see how he's trying to manipulate your mind. Older man this, older man that. Oh, out of respect for one another. You know what I mean? Like, we had both agreed to this. It's something, I felt like he's just really shady. That was what we both decided, and I just respected it, which obviously did not end up playing that way. Okay, the victim, crying the victim, when it's him, he who did all these horrible things. Yeah, and then he goes into all of the women who leaked those things on TikTok and whatnot, and he's like, I just wanted to do my best to make sure this didn't affect Raven that much. I wanted to protect her from all this embarrassment. Protecting her would have been being faithful to her, SK. No one would have had anything to say about you if you weren't doing these things. That's the best protection. I remember a particular incident that happened in the middle of this crisis. Raven was like, this is getting in the way. It's affecting my business. Well, look at this. He's trying to make Raven look shallow. Like this is not something that affected her emotionally. This is something she was worried about from a business perspective. Again, manipulator at it. It's yeah, I have brand deals and things I need to post on TikTok, and I can't do that because that's what everybody on TikTok wants to talk about. So you have to do something. He's making her seem so cold between this and the older man and the material things and whatnot. Material girl. For me, it was very important. I did not want my mess and my poor judgment to affect Raven in any way. Yeah, that's what they all said. But also at the same time, it also made me think we're a couple that was still engaged and we're going through this problem. And literally on day 2 or 3 of this crisis, what you're really most worried about is this not affecting your business and you not being able to post on TikTok. There it is. I told you, when you read between the lines, you get to it eventually. That he is just trying to really assassinate her character here. And it's disgusting and it's pathetic. Like, it's bad enough that she was heartbroken and just like played by you, but she has business engagements. That's true. Like, just because her job is non-traditional doesn't mean that she doesn't have the right to be upset that your trifling ways are affecting her business. That doesn't mean that she's not emotionally affected by you. That doesn't mean that she's not traumatized by you. It just means that she wants you to at least make sure that this does not blow up too much to the point where she can't, deliver. There are deliverables when you're an influencer and you've got brand deals. You have to deliver on certain days and certain times. What's wrong with that? And why is he trying to villainize her for that? First he villainizes her for even caring about her job and her business. And now here it is again. All this news about me cheating on you has come out and you want to, you want to protect your business and stuff. How dare you? For me, I was like, damn, can we grieve? What do you mean we grieve? What do you have to grieve, SK? You did this. Can we go through this and try to figure this out as a couple? What do you mean as a couple? You disrespected her and she was done with you. But for her, it was like, no, you have to do something. You have to make this stop. It's affecting me. It's affecting the business. So I had to be very proactive. Well, of course you have to do something. It's your mess. It is affecting her and it is affecting her business. Why is he trying to make that stuff look negative? This man is horrible. I'm sorry, and this word is so overused, but he is giving hardcore narc vibes. It was one of the reasons why we literally had to abruptly announce our breakup to the public, even though we were still in communication with each other. It was one of the reasons why I had to seek legal help to make all those videos stop and get taken down, which they did. And 2 or 3 days after they were taken down, she went back to posting stuff about her business again. And she had brand deals. She had contracts signed. She was paid to do things. That's like saying, I cheated on my wife. She's a teacher. And she went back to work 2 days later. Or my mistress kept calling her job and she dared to ask me to tell my mistress to stop calling her job. Why? What? How do you villainize a woman for that? It's just mind-blowing to me what he's putting out here. And he really thinks he comes across great. Like, you're crazy, SK. You truly are. Like, what? He has not taken any responsibility. This is just a smear campaign. For me, it just really was kind of like a blow because we didn't really have the moment of two people trying to grieve or go through a crisis together and try to figure things out, even if we were going to eventually end up breaking up. At the time, it really felt like, hey, you messed up. I'm out of here. You got to fix it. Et alors? And so what? That's exactly what it is. You messed out. You messed up. She's out of there. And you have to fix it. That's how it should be. And I had no choice other than to fix it. And don't break it and you won't have to fix it. This man, honestly, God bless the next woman who has the misfortune of being in a relationship with this man, because the ego, it's like I told you guys before the cheating stuff came out, when the episodes were dropping, I said, this man he is effing selfish. The world revolves around him in his little brain. And he is just, chef's kiss. He's putting it out there in black and white. Because the stuff that he is trying to drag Raven for is just very normal thing. Take away influencer, because a lot of people don't respect that as a job, and I get it. Well, no, I don't get it. So, when I say like imagine if Raven was a teacher, would it be normal for a man who cheated on her to complain that she's back at work the next day? No. Would it be normal that he's saying that he's complaining that his victim, Raven, was asking him to tell the mistress to stop harassing her at her place of work? No. And again, what is this whole, we have to go through this together? Who is we? Who is we? We're done at this point. You fix it and you get the F out of my life. Like, what? you know? And it's like, you already realized months before you re-proposed to her that you didn't want to be with her. And so now here you are crying that she, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense at all. You already decided a while ago you didn't want to be with her. So what is this? I definitely did have plans of letting everything come out and being completely honest with her about the poor decisions. That's not true. She confronted you a couple of times. She talked about this on the podcast, and you denied like a true dirty D cheater. We just hadn't really had the opportunity to do that. I regret it now. No, you had the opportunity and you chose not to. And without this news even coming out, you could have said it yourself and you chose not to, SK, because you are a person who has no integrity. You're a snake, you're a rodent, you know, you're all those things, you're a vermin. So don't talk about, oh, we didn't have the opportunity. You had the opportunity. You had months, you had a year, and you never took the opportunity. In fact, she had confronted you about this several times and you lied. That's how, you know, that's how these people operate, people who do these things to people. I regret it now, honestly, that there were a lot of hard conversations that we chose not to have. There was a lot of not trying to create conflict or just avoiding the hard conversations out of wanting to work this out. So yeah, in retrospect, I did have plans to talk to her and explain everything to her, regardless of how difficult it would have been. Yeah. But it was also a theme that was kind of dominant in our relationship, just trying to avoid conflict and confrontation and having those hard conversations that could potentially go the opposite way. Oh, la, 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 la. Like I said, in the middle of our crisis, what was this? Okay, so Raven did an interview with People earlier in the month, and she talked about being in a different relationship and wanting to get engaged by the end of the year. And so they asked SK how he felt about that. And he said that is very interesting, but he has no bad blood. Well, you sound like a hurt, you know, hurt little puppy over there. Very interesting to say, okay, good for her. And I hope he treats her right the way that she deserves, the way that I am not capable of, because I'm not a real man. Like I said, right in the middle of our crisis, while we were trying to grieve and go through that tragedy, I had already seen a lot of this play out. So all of that is not completely foreign to me. It's a theme that constantly continued to revolve in the course of us trying to rekindle our relationship, which made me have a lot of doubts about what we were doing. And it is my fault for still continuing on and not ending things when I had those doubts. So I guess he's trying to say that the guy she's dating is the guy that was always in the picture, which I don't believe. Raven said that they just met and started dating and it's only been a couple of months. While I honestly really believe that Raven and I did take intentional effort into building something serious that just turned out to be unsuccessful, I have no regrets. Wow. He can't even say I regret the hurt that I caused, like the mental and emotional anguish that I caused this poor woman. He has no regrets. That tells you everything you need to know about him. I wish her well in however she chooses to decide to continue to live her life. I think this was a very, very difficult experience for both of us, and people tend to deal with things differently. Yeah, some cheat and some leave relationships. And thankfully, Raven decided to leave this relationship instead of cheating back. So I have nothing but best wishes for her, well wishes for her, and I wish her all the best. Please, please. This man is TRASH. Oh my God. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse as I continued to read his BS statements to People magazine. Raven, my girl, you dodged the ultimate F boy bullet. Thank God you did not marry this man, because these men, they truly do not see anything wrong with their actions and they continue to do it after marriage. Let me tell you something. A friend of a friend married someone from a similar culture to SK. Not that it's a, you know, cultural thing or whatever. I think SK is just a bad person, but he had the same kind of like mentality and outlook. And guess what happened? Within a couple of months of marriage, he cheated on her because he thought, listen, she's not going to divorce me. How embarrassing to get divorced after only a couple months. You know what she said? Bet. Went and filed for divorce and left his ass. Honestly, I'm just so angry right now. I need to go eat like a shawarma, because what the hell is this? What the heck did I just read? Right? Just how selfish and how disgusting he is to go to People magazine under the guise of apologizing and accepting responsibility, to go ahead and just railroad his ex's reputation, just throw her under the bus, to just completely malign her character. And it was just all so carefully, masterfully thought out and manipulated. And that's exactly, you know, that really tells you a lot about who he is as a person. SK, you're not a good person, man. You're truly not a good person. And I'm disturbed that this is how you decided to go out. You could have just stopped, right? Just accept responsibility, tell the truth about how you were cheating on this girl and moved on with your life. But you're like, no, let me go plant all these seeds about her and, like, you know, cover it up with fluffy words. So if people are reading quickly, they think, you know, they don't understand what's going in their subconscious mind about this girl that I'm trying to plant in there. Wow, I got to get out of here, you guys, because I'm just so tired. Honestly, like, I'm truly tired of how evil some people are in this world, how disgusting and selfish and egotistical some people are. You know, like, it's rough out there. Protect yourselves, y'all. Protect yourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, because people like SK are out there, and that's not a good thing. Take care, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. You know what? Let me say this. His mom was such a gem on that show. I wonder if she's ashamed that her son turned out this way. I can't picture her raising a son like this. You know, I think that he is probably an embarrassment to her, and she probably has to be at least slightly ashamed at how it is that he turned out, because I cannot picture such a gem of a woman. You know, I cannot picture. I don't know where he got it from. Was it from friends? Was it from, you know, his siblings? Was it from his father when his father was alive? I don't know. But it's not good. And I'm sure that this breaks her heart as well. Anyway, you guys, take care. Have a great night, okay? Bye.